Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Gorsuch of Demonte Ranch High School. This is going to be your first video for help on distance learning. This is going to cover section 1.2. Before I forget, I would like you to understand that this is only going to cover some of the notes, and you can always find all filled in notes on the Algebra 1 page in the Demonte Ranch High School website. So you might want to bookmark this site if you have not already. And you can see here that the videos will go here and all the notes will be filled out. So even though I won't cover every example here, you can always go and fill out 100% of your notes if you would like to. For extra learning and things like that. But what I'm going to do is try to keep it short and simple and just cover some of the material. So as you follow along, you might want to take notes yourself. Hopefully you've been able to print the notes or you've been given them to you from your teacher. So I'm going to skip the key vocabulary here, and you can do that on the notes that I just showed you on the website. But let's go right into some problems here. We're solving one step or two-step equations today. So I'm just going to work some of these problems with you. So number one, it's 6x minus 8 equals 12. And of course, what you do is you add 8 to both sides because that's legal to add the same fixed amount to both sides in the equation. And then the next step, of course, would be to divide by 6. Because you're trying to get x all alone. So the final answer here would be x equals 20 over 6. And of course, you could reduce that to 10 over 3, or you could even write it as a mixed fraction if you'd like. On to number 3. Number 3, there's that pesky 11 that's getting in our way. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5 first. And I'm going to get 8 over 11n is equal to negative 12. Now, I can do this in one step or two to get rid of this 8 over 11 as a fraction. What I'm going to do is do this in one step, but I'm going to show you each part. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 11. So let's do that. Multiply both sides by 11. But I'm also going to divide both sides by 8. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. Essentially what I'm doing is I am multiplying by what's called the reciprocal. And of course, everything cancels out on the left side and you just wind up getting n. On the right side, I guess you're going to get what? Positive 132 because, oh, I'm sorry, this is multiplication, not a negative sign. You're going to get negative 100, and I guess that would be 32 over 8. And of course, you could reduce that again to get the smallest, fraction. Number 4 here, very similar to number to the one we just did. So you might want to stop the video now, just hit pause, try it yourself, and then I'll be come back with you, and you can check to see if you got it right. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides here. And I'm going to wind up with 4/3 a is equal to 2. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 over 4. Multiply both sides by 3 over 4 to cross, to eliminate the fraction in front of the a there. And then to multiply fractions, of course, this is the same as 2 over 1 times 3 over 4, which is 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. You might have had 1.5, you might have had 1.5, but we kind of prefer that you have a fraction than a decimal on this one. Number 6, on the other hand, does have decimals. So on number 6, you're going to probably give a decimal answer. If you wind up getting a decimal, you wouldn't give a fraction answer on that. So we'd start by adding 3 to both sides, and you get negative 4.4b is equal to 20. And then you'd, of course, divide both sides by negative 4.4. And then you would need a calculator, right? Because even I can't do that math in my head. So you get b is equal to 20 divided by negative 4.4, and you can use a calculator to give you that final answer. Okay? Number 7 and 8, we're doing is adding like terms. We have to combine like terms, right? So combining like terms means if you have 4x plus 2y plus 3x plus 5x, right? What you do is you add like terms. So they have to have the same variable in order to add them together. But 4x's plus 3x's, 4 apples plus 3 apples is 7 apples. And we have another 5 apples here. So all the x's add to, I think, 12. So we get a total of 12 x's and 2 y's. And you cannot combine x's and y's when you're adding. You can't combine like, because they're not like terms. So that would be how you would combine like terms. In example 7, you have to do 5a minus 7a first, and you get negative 2a plus 9 is equal to 20. And then you solve it just like we did the other ones. So you subtract 9 from both sides, and you would get negative 2a is equal to 11. And you would divide by negative 2 to get a is equal to 11 over negative 2. Or you might have negative 11 over 2. That's the same thing. Negative 5.5 is the same thing. Why don't you try number 8? Pause the video, see if you can do number 8, and then check your work when you're done. Okay, back with you now. I'm going to do this problem. So first we're going to combine the minus 5g and the 8g, and those combine to be minus 3g's. So you have 25 minus 3g is equal to 7. Now we're going to subtract 25 from both sides, and we're going to get minus 3g is equal to minus 18. And then we're going to divide both sides by g, and I'm sorry, misspoke completely there. We're going to divide both sides by negative 3, and when we do that, we're going to get g is equal to positive 6. Example 9, we're going to add the distributive property here. So remember that when you have multiplication here in front of parentheses, that's implied multiplication, you're going to distribute. So you have to do 2 times 7, and then you have to do minus 2 times 5h, right? That's what it means to distribute, and you get 20 still. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times negative 5, I'm sorry, negative 2 times, or 2 times negative 5h is minus 10h, and that's equal to 20. So we would subtract 14 from both sides, and we get minus 10h is equal to 6. And then we're going to divide both sides by 10. And so we would get h is equal to, sorry, by minus 10. And we get h is equal to negative 6 over 10, or that reduces to negative 3 over 5. There's another strategy you can use on this problem. You can actually divide by 2 first. 7 minus 5h equals 10. You don't divide everything by 2, you just divide both sides by 2 because you have multiplication. And then if you solve that, you would get the same answer of h equals negative 3 over 5. This problem is kind of complicated, right? Because you got little distribution going, division, addition, subtraction, things like that. We're going to start by getting all the numbers on one side. So let's add 8 to both sides. And we'll get 2 times x plus 4 divided by 3 is equal to 40. Now, I think what might be a good idea is to get rid of this 3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. And when I do that, they will cross out on the left side. So now I'll be left with 2 times x plus 4, quantity x plus 4. And I think that's equal to 120. Now I have 2 choices. But I'm going to go ahead and distribute because I just kind of want to emphasize that, you know, when you have parentheses there and a number out in front, that's what you do. So 2x plus 8 is equal to 120, right? 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 4 is 8. And then you will go ahead and do 2x plus 8 is equal to 120, and you'll subtract 8 from both sides, and you'll get 2x equals 112, and you'll get x is equal to 56. By the way, if I go too fast, of course, you can slow the speed down. If I go too slow, you can always speed the the video up. I think I'm just going to do maybe 13 and 14. Just going to check my time real quick and see how long I've been streaming here, 10 minutes. So I should have time to do these two problems. It says 3 friends split the cost of ordering a pizza and they each pay $13. Which of the following equations model this situation is if P is the cost of the pizza? So it says they each pay $13. So that's the answer, right? This is the answer after you do the math, right? You go and you buy a pizza, it costs something, you figure out how much each person pays, right? Well, P, it says, is the total cost of the pizza. So let's say you've got 3 friends, right? So let's just think about this. Let's say the pizza costs $30, right? And you've got 3 friends. If you took 30 and you divided that by 3, you would get $10 each, right? So that would be the problem, you would do if you actually went to the pizza place. But this problem is different because this problem, they're giving you the answer. So it's P dollars is how much the pizza costs. And what you need to do is divide that cost by 3 in order to get the answer of $13. So that's what you're going to want to set up as an equation. And it looks like the correct one there is D. Okay, this is a you try again. So again, why don't you go ahead and try to do this problem on your own. Don't be afraid, you're working in pencil, you're working alone, no one's watching you or whatever. But, math is not a spectator sport. So sometimes, it helps to try it yourself first and then see what mistakes you're making. So pause the video and give this a try. Okay, hopefully you're back with me now. It says Trevor hires a landscaping company in order to xeriscape his yard. The company charges $800 per day. So $800 per day, that sounds like that's a change. That's an amount per day. And it's $120 per hour for the labor. So I guess this is not a highlighter, it's a pen. So it's $120 per hour for the labor. And it says it takes 3 days to complete, and the total charge was $4,560, which equation below it correctly models the situation if H is the number of hours labor, right? So what do we do with this H? It says it costs $120 per hour. And if we work for 10 hours, we'd multiply that by 10. If we work for 40 hours, we'd multiply that by 40 because that's what the charge is per hour for the labor. But here, what we're doing is we're going to multiply by H because it says H is the number of hours of labor needed to complete the job. Now, it's $800 per day, and it says that the job takes 3 days to complete, right? So we're just going to do $800 times 3, and we're going to get $2,400 because that's what they charge per day. And we know it took 3 days. So which one of these equations is going to help us out? Well, it looks like it's B because we have to add the labor charge, $120 per hour, plus the $2,400, and get a total charge of $4,560. Okay, remember, I didn't go through every example, but if you, and I know I skipped some things here, if you want to, you can always go back to the website and see complete filled in notes right here on the Math Algebra 1 website. Again, you might want to bookmark this. And if you miss a video on any day, you can come back here and this will eventually be linked and you'll be able to find the video that goes with the lesson that we are providing you. Hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email your teacher and ask them. Have a good day.